So people love to talk about Tom Cruise, his amazing stunts throughout the Mission Impossible franchise and all the cool spy stuff and how great of movies they are and what is the best stunt in the franchise. But has anyone ever discussed the ranking of Ethan Hunt and how much Rizz he has in each of these movies? Okay, so to make this video as simple as possible, nothing crazy with my tiers. I'm just using the simple S, A, B, C, and D. S being the best, D being the worst for this category. Now, I'm going to say again, this is particularly Ethan Hunt's Rizz level throughout each movie. It's not a what's the best character, what's the best love interest in each movie. It's just the aura he brings into how much and how effective he is at rizzing up each girl or multiple girls in each movies. So this list is very fluid. You get the gist. Let's get into it. Okay, so started off with the first movie. We are going with Mission Impossible 1. I am leaning towards A tier. Now, give me room to make changes along the way. This is a very odd ranking, and I don't have much prepped off the top of my head, so this is pure instinct, so I might make some changes along the way. Mission Impossible 1 starts off very, very strong with Ethan Hunt's Rizz. It's mainly with the character Claire. There will be spoilers possibly throughout this movie, so if you haven't seen a certain movie, maybe skip over certain things, or maybe, watch the franchise, because it's a great franchise. But Ethan Hunt's Rizz in this movie is with Claire, and Claire was meant to be a character who was trying to sneakily screw him over. She was married or in a relationship with Jim Phelps, John Voight's character, if I'm saying his name right. And Jim Phelps, killed the entire Ethan Hunt's team. And she's working undercover behind the scenes, but the entire movie, she is infatuated with him, and he has risen her up so much so that by the end of the movie, she switches sides. She switches sides, turns on her husband, just simply off Ethan Hunt's Rizz levels. So that's pretty peak, and that sets the standard and the bar high to start off his Rizz levels throughout this franchise. Okay, coming up next, we have Mission Impossible 2, Ethan Hunt's Rizz levels. Now, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this movie, but Ethan Hunt's Rizz is insane. Absolutely insane in this movie. I have to do it. I am going S tier. This is not meaning that the movie is S tier, but this whole movie is essentially Ethan Hunt, aura, and Rizz farming the entire movie. From the opening scene of them, I don't know if it's the opening scene. It's hard to remember. I haven't seen this one in probably sometime last month. I've watched these over the past month, as I said. Obviously, this was earlier on, so it's been a few weeks. He goes in and he catches this girl trying to, I don't know, break in and whatever. And from the moment they go into that movie, he's just risen her up. He has her underneath this like coffin thing or hide under cover. They're looking at each other, and then they go on the run together. She tries to drive away, and he chases after her on his motorcycle while she's in the car. They get in basically a car crash, and the car is about to flip upside down over a mountain. Like, they're literally gonna die. They're gonna fall off a cliff, and instead of making sure we get to immediate safety, he just starts hooking up with her on the side of the road. And then the whole movie is just essentially him going after this girl and rizzing her up the entire time while she's in a hard dilemma. So, the more I talk about this video sounds so stupid, but I'm sticking with it. We're posting it. Ethan Hunt's Rizz is insane in Mission Impossible 2. There. I should also mention the character's name. The character's name is Naya. We never see her again after this franchise, but he puts it all on the line for her in this one movie, and then we just never hear from her again, which is a really, really funny thing that this franchise does in the first few movies, where some of these characters become completely irrelevant after Ethan Hunt puts all his stock into some of these characters. up until Ghost Protocol, then everything starts to tie together a little bit more. Well, I guess the third one as well, Mission Impossible 3. But these first two movies, it's like almost everything that happens becomes we completely shelve it after this movie. So now it's time to talk about Mission Impossible 3. This is the one where Ethan Hunt gets married. So this one is kind of harder to judge because again, this is not who is the best relationship with him and which one is the most meaningful. This just means which one he rises up the most. And even though he is married, which had to have some Rizz to do that and whatever. This is more of an honorable and loving relationship to some degree. He spends the whole movie trying to rescue her. So he doesn't really have enough chance to really Rizz her up because she is being captured the whole movie, kinda, for the most part, from what I remember. So, with that said, he does have Rizz because he gets the girl. But I'm leaning towards B? No. See, this is so tough. He has Rizz in all of these. I'm going to go A, but I'm going to go below Mission Impossible 1 because even though he's married to her, Claire in Mission Impossible 1 was literally feeding off him the entire movie. So, I'm going to leave it there. Again, give me room to make some changes along the way. This is initial thoughts. And I want to speed through this review. This video shouldn't be too long. Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol. Next up, the love interest. This one's a little bit harder. We don't see Julia as much throughout the movie. I don't believe he rizzes up many girls in this movie. I'm not as prepared for this video as I realize that I would like to be. But the main girl in this movie, the one where he kind of has some Rizzy moments, is Jane. Jane, very attractive female, one of the best females in the show. But when it comes to pure Rizz, he definitely does Rizz her up at some point, but it's kind of to a fault because they are working together undercover, playing a couple on a date, trying to infiltrate some special dinner thing. I kind of forget the exact concept of what's going on. But they are fake dating for this scene. Everything before that point doesn't really imply that he's risen her up and she's feeling him. But there's a scene where they kind of have to play the part of a relationship a little bit more, and I think he casually, as Ethan Hunt does, starts to Rizz her up a little bit, and you can tell she actually starts to feel him after he throws her up the wall, kisses her, whatever. She has that look in her eye like, oh wait, this is Ethan Hunt. The same look that pretty much every girl eventually gets at some point with him. They don't explore it too much beyond that, so I can't go too high. So I'm gonna go B, but it's still good. It's still good. He still has his moments, because that's what Ethan Hunt does. He's always going to have something, more times than not. Next up, we have Rogue Nation. The beautiful Rebecca Ferguson joins this franchise, one of the best characters and best additions of the show, just as a character and story in general. And his dynamic with her is fantastic. Ilsa Foss, from the very beginning of this movie, is feeling Ethan Hunt. They get captured together. She basically throws it on the line for the movie. We never know which side she's really on, but there's always this tension between Ethan Hunt and Ilsa. And I'm going S. I'm going to put it behind Mission Impossible 2 because, and that's really tough because Ilsa's definitely a way better relationship. But there's more to the movie than him just raising her up, where Mission Impossible 2, it's the whole movie. So, I'm going to leave it there for now. It's not my favorite. Again, this is not what's the best relationship. It's who he rizzes up the most. Maybe I should have did best love interest, because that probably would be a better video than Ethan Hunt's Rizz. But we're in too deep. Leave a comment below if you would like me to rank the actual love interests and their dynamic after this, if you're having fun with this video. That might be a little bit more nuanced than this, because this is probably the dumbest video idea that I've had so far, but whatever, we're having fun. Next up, we have Mission Impossible Fallout. And his Rizz is pretty insane in this one too, because we have Ilsa Foss, Rebecca Ferguson back in the role, still having a great dynamic with him. But now we also add Vanessa Kirby's character. So I'm going to go S tier I might put that at number one. More I think about it, the more I think about it, that might be number one because Vanessa Kirby's character was feeding off Ethan Hunt, along with Rebecca Ferguson's character. They were both obsessed with him. Vanessa Kirby, the White Widow, who's essentially working against him, whether she realizes it or not, always finds her way kind of back to working with Ethan Hunt, and I really feel like the main reason why she even entertains and works with Hunt so many different times is because she wants him. And I believe this is the one where she ends up kissing him. Her brother's like constantly wanting to battle with Ethan Hunt, but the White Widow just wants him. She wants him as he's still battling back and forth between Ilsa Foss. So yeah, he's pretty peak in this one, balancing everything. Obviously, a fantastic movie in the franchise. If you want to see my ranking of the movies, comment down below. I just did think I'm a channel that's not that big. I doubt this video is gonna get that much views to begin with, and I just felt like my own Mission Impossible ranking video probably wouldn't do that well on its own. So I thought this would be funnier to do first. So if this, for some reason, if people watch this video and want to see my actual movie ranking, I will tell you that. So obviously Fallout is one of the best in the franchise, without a doubt. And Ethan Hunt's aura and Rizz is a very big part of it. Dead Reckoning Part 1. This is the Haley Atwell one. We still have Ilsa, again, Rebecca Ferguson, one of the best characters in the franchise. Ethan Hunt rizzes up Haley Atwell at the airport while she's pickpocketing all these people, and they really have a really good connection that makes you want to root for them, even though we still want him and Ilsa to be a thing. So there's always that tension, and that's like the interesting thing. Even though you might be rooting for maybe certain relationships between certain people, I also forgot the. I'm now thinking about it. Mission Impossible Fallout is definitely number one for Ethan Hunt's Rizz because I completely forgot that not only is Vanessa Kirby's character in it and Rebecca Ferguson, but also Julia, his wife from the very beginning, is back in it and clearly still hung up on her, and he's still kind of showing her that attention, and it's not making the other girls jealous. I mean, it is and it isn't. Like it's like they still want him. They're not like oh screw this guy, I don't want him anymore. They understand. They're like Ilsa gives him his moment with his girl and she still wants him, right? And the wife does the same thing. They kind of respect each other. Like yeah, we know Ethan Hunt's the man. You know, you have your time, I've had my time. It's like they're all okay somewhat with sharing, but not really. Like they're not like that, but they're also like yeah, we understand. Ethan Hunt's the man. So back to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Haley Atwell, great dynamic again. They found a way in the first 7 movies to introduce us to a new female character for Ethan Hunt to Rizz up every single time. And that's the main reason why I made this video, because it's impressive. They brought in beautiful women in every single movie, and Ethan Hunt rizzes them all up. So, and I'm probably leaving off some side characters that I forgot because that's what there's so much that happens action wise throughout this movie, but I'm just naming the main love interests. That's why I forgot that Julia was even in Fallout for a second, because I'm thinking about Vanessa Kirby as being the main new one, right? But we had 2 old ones as well, Ilsa and Julia. So that's great. So Haley Atwell, as I was saying, I'm gonna go A tier above him being married, just because the dynamic of battling 2, and I still don't think it's as much as 1 because him and Haley Atwell don't fully commit, but you could tell it's a nice tension building throughout the movie. Last but not least, or is it? We have Final Reckoning. Again, Haley Atwell's character is returning as Grace. That is pretty much the main one because sadly, spoilers again, if you haven't seen the movies, Ilsa doesn't make it to this point, which is kind of frustrating because Rebecca Ferguson's character is clearly the best female character, I think, in these movies to me, just as a character, not just him rizzing them up. Like, she's just awesome. But this one, I would say, is the least amount of Rizz, sadly, for Ethan Hunt. I'm going to put it at C tier, and I'm only not going to put it at D tier because he does have some nice moments with Grace at the very end, and kind of in the submarine station, but at the same time, not the submarine station, but when she saves him from the submarine and she pulls him out, but she kind of has to bring him back to life. So it's not really full on Rizz, even though he kind of envisioned stuff in his mind or whatever when he passed out and almost died and all that stuff. But this movie isn't about Ethan's Rizz. Where I'm not saying that's what all the movies are about. Mission Impossible 2 definitely feels like it's about Ethan's Rizz, and even 1 to some degree. But there definitely are huge elements throughout the first 7 movies. That's why I'm making this video. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is the only one that felt like we took that part of the character out. I felt like they took a lot of things out with Final Reckoning. Him running. I mean, they had him running, but nowhere as much running. Nowhere as much motorcycle chases, car chases. It's way more different. It's way more emotional. It's way more serious. Way less, playful. And our characters with him and Grace and this and that, they're kind of separated majority of the movie, so he doesn't really have a chance to rizz her up. Because he's too busy trying to save the world. Again, that's not what the movie wasn't trying to make him do that. But I feel like they always did that in every other movie where he's trying to save the world. Should have had a little bit more. Maybe if he kissed her at the end, it would be B tier. But from my memory, he didn't, and that's why I got to go C tier. It's the least amount of action he has in all these movies. So I'm pretty comfortable with this ranking right now. We have, let me see if I can zoom it in just a tad. Let's see. Not that you guys can't see. I mean, it's barely any things here. Okay, so we have Fallout as my main S. We have Mission Impossible 2, Rogue Nation. All S tier Rizz levels for Ethan Hunt. That's probably my order. I could put Rogue Nation above Mission Impossible 2. I definitely like the movie better, right? And that's probably my favorite dynamic because it's full on Ilsa, where this one gets a little bit more distracting to some degree with 3 different characters. But this is not your favorite love interest. This is, his ultimate Rizz level. So he rizzes up 3 girls without a doubt in Fallout. This one, it's all about the Rizz. And this, I kind of already went through all this stuff. So Mission Impossible 1, Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible 3, because he's married, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, very attractive female. She would be up there in that regard, but it's lower because she's not necessarily being rizzed by him. She does for a moment, but it's kind of for the plot to some degree. But there is a nice moment, so it's definitely B, especially since how attractive he is that he even has her for a moment. But Final Reckoning is clearly the least amount of Rizz Ethan Hunt provides for us. Okay, so that is my final ranking of the big question that everyone wanted to know and what's on everyone's mind. What does Far From Blake rank Ethan Hunt's Rizz in the Mission Impossible movies? You got it. It's here. Now, I typically don't make videos like this at all. I typically make horror reviews like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Ghostface, Scream, all that, and superhero films. I talk Marvel, MCU. I'm going to be making a lot of content like that. I'm excited for Superman this summer, so if you're into that stuff, that's mainly what the channel's about, but I thought I'd have a little bit of fun. If you love the Mission Impossible series and you want to hear my actual movie ranking and have fun with this, or any other fun, silly ideas that can play along, maybe with other characters, maybe this becomes a series for me if this luckily gets a couple views, where maybe I rank other characters' Rizz levels of movies. I don't know. I'm just having fun. I wanted to do something different, so here we are. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content with me in the future.